Hi, and welcome to another Heart to Heart. Today, I have my good friend Carla here with me, and we're going to be sharing a process that we've been doing together almost every week for the past 2 months. I really feel like it's something that has been really helpful for me, and from what I've heard from Carla, really helpful for her as well. And we've kind of come to this intuitive decision to share it with you because we feel like this process is something that could actually be done by anybody, anywhere. If you really want to do this with somebody that you trust, you can just pick up this format and do this and really get the benefits like directly as well. So we've learned this through a program that we took together through Layla Martin. And so I want to give a shout out to her and thank her for basically bringing us together with this and through the program, the Oblis program. And so we're going to kind of get into it. But Carla, did you want to express anything before we start?
Yes, so hello. I think what I want to say also about this process, I mean, you and me, we started this process, we didn't know each other, right?
Yeah.
And what I love about this process is that it's also, you can actually do it with someone you don't know yet or not really good. And it's a beautiful way to build a beautiful friendship or relationship whatsoever. So it's really powerful. And definitely huge credits to Layla Martin, and it's a sisterhood call support format, and it's magical. And I've been come to know you on this deep level, and I love it. And I'm very happy to be here.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for saying that, for pointing that out, because it's true that like we didn't know each other in the beginning, and it has brought us super close. And I'm so grateful for having found you and like being able to connect with you in this way on this weekly basis, because it's true magic, as we were saying before. It's like co-creative magic, and
Exactly.
I'm really grateful for this time that we have together and to be able to practice or experiment with sharing it. It's taking it to kind of like a new level in my own heart expressions, and like sharing my expressions from the heart on YouTube. This is like really going to another level, and it's kind of scary, but we're doing it together. So
Yeah.
I appreciate
I feel safe with you, so
yeah, I appreciate the fact that you're willing to go there with me, because it's not easy, but yeah, magic. So
let's go.
okay, so so we'll go into the process now. I'm not going to go through the whole thing to begin with, but we'll just kind of go through it. Start with heart clearing. Usually we do 5 minutes each, uninterrupted, just really expressing from the heart anything that kind of wants to come up, feeling into our bodies as well.
Exactly.
Today we're going to do 7 minutes, a little bit longer than usual, just because we didn't get to see each other last week. So yet extra heart clearing, no judgment, simply expressing.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about who was going to go first this time.
And just one word about space holding. Like I love this that you pointed that out, no judgment. So for the one who is just holding space or just listening, it's really important to, whatever happens to the other person, meaning, if there is some tears coming or whatever, maybe as some more emotion, that the one listening just don't do anything, just listen, be present, and but we'll demonstrate it anyway. But that's, I think,
I'm really important to brought that up, because the space holding is a key part of it, and it's true that it's something that we don't always learn. So,
I didn't know that.
it's about witnessing. Just witnessing is actually just so powerful. You don't need to say or do anything. It's just holding that space. I hope that everybody can experience that at least once in their lives, because it's magic.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I don't remember. Is it my turn?
I can't remember.
I'll just put the timer on already. I'm getting nervous, but I can start if you want.
Yeah, you want to? Okay, yes, you are very brave, my friend.
Oh my God. Yes.
Okay. So I'm putting 7 minutes on the timer.
Okay.
You ready?
Yes.
Okay, here we go.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I'm feeling butterflies here in my heart space. I so I'm nervous, but also I feel like it's really exciting. I feel excited. I feel like it's rushing through my body, and it feels good. And I guess I have so many things to share, and I think I would start with the last days. The last 3 days have been very challenging for me because I have been experiencing a lot of chronic pain in my vagina, like the whole time. And it's because I 3 days ago or four, last weekend, let's say, I had sex, penetration sex, right? And I guess I shouldn't have. I think that I was ready, but it was very painful, very, very painful. And since then, my vagina has just been burning and burning and burning. And like for the first days, I just cried myself through it the whole time. I couldn't sleep, and I was starting to get very worried or very afraid that that's just how it's going to be, and that this pain will never go away. And then luckily I remember that I just pulled myself together and tried to just be there for myself. So I laid down in my bed, and like yesterday, the whole afternoon, like it was like 4 hours, but it passed by really quickly. I was really feeling good about it, and I just did a lot of healing on myself. I rewatched some videos. I did a lot of meditations, try to be very present. I work with crystals, with intentions, with water, and I feel better now, thanks God. And so I feel empowered around that, and just trying to really figure out what's going on. But that was really really painful, not only but also very, on an emotional level. I feel like I did something, this feeling when it's on you, and it's the feeling of I shouldn't have done that, or I did something I completely miscalculated, and I felt like I had let myself down, and my vagina, my yoni down. Like I have been really mindful of starting like building a connection to my yoni, and I know that she's very that you have to be careful with her, right? And I just feel like I let her down, and that I completely disrespected her, and it's completely on me. Like the guy that I was with, like it's not on the guy at all. It's really decisions that I made. And so right now I feel embarrassed. But that breath was really, but also released. I feel released. I feel like I want to share this. I don't want to carry that burden, and I hope that I just want to go forward and see what I can do next to feel better, and to just honor my vagina. And just a lot of feelings came up around, not feeling normal, feeling like, why isn't this supposed to be pleasurable? Is everyone lying here around me, or am I the only one the only odd one out. What is going on? Because that was really frustrating and really sad for me too, because I've been investing like big time for years now, for 5 years now, to really explore, to really heal, to really expand my sexuality. And I feel like there's this pain when it comes to penetration has always been there. But now I feel like I went so far that now it's like a chronic pain. It's like I'm feeling it right now. So that's really sad for me. And it feels like what, like just tell me what to do, right? Or just can someone translate? Like I just don't, and I feel like I just really don't understand her. I don't know what she wants from me. I don't know how, I felt like at some point I was like, I'm burned out. Like I went into a fight with her. It's like I'm burned out about, or just clueless about how to please you. Like you are so high maintenance. I'm not up for that role. And that's how I felt. And it's and I was just really heartbroken about not being able to tap into intimacy, sexual intimacy, and it always being this painful experience, no matter what, because the guy was great. Like he treated me very well. So I used to blame it a lot on men too, or on my partners, but honestly that's when you notice, that's when I know it's like it's really a self-work and inner work, because this time it's really it's on me. And I feel like something is hurting in me around sexuality that I haven't figured out yet. And so I'm just glad to be in a good space right now. I'm glad that I figured that I could have this whole healing session with myself and with her, because I just honestly, I thought that I would be that on our call I would just be crying the whole way through, because so I'm glad that I'm feeling better actually, and empowered. And is my time up? Yeah. Yes. Oh, thank you.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah. Oh, thank you for listening. I feel like some part of me is like, oh, this is so embarrassing. But yeah.
Yeah. I'm embarrassed. I just want to say that. I have to say that.
Thank you.
You're brave for like bringing this up, and talking about it. Like, thank you.
Thank you.
Just really honoring you in that.
Yeah. And I just want to talk about it because I think a lot of women struggle with that. I think there's also like a term like vaginismus or vulvodynia, but vaginismus is this with penetration, vulvodynia is this chronic pain. If I'm not mistaken, I'm not an expert, but I sense that it's a very emotional
Absolutely
subject, and shameful, like not shameful, but a lot of people feel shame, I think, talking about stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's that opening up that conversation, because like I've never talked about that pain with anybody, I don't think, except for my partner, but like not with other women. And it's something that like we go through and that like we can connect over and not feel shame about, So anyway, there's so much that could be said, but I don't want to I feel like what you expressed was so nice, and I just kind of want to leave that there for now and keep going with our process. Thank you.
Is that the timer? Yes. Okay. Me too. You ready? Okay. So 7 minutes.
So if I just start by feeling into the body, I'm actually feeling a lot of peace, surprisingly, because it's been feeling really tumultuous these this past week. I've been feeling really, really heavy, really feeling like I'm grieving and like I'm going through this deep process of transition on so many levels, like in so many areas of my life. But I know that sexuality is a part of it, and that's why I'm glad that we get together to kind of really focus in on that, because I think I often put it to the side or like leave it on the back burner, or don't want to admit to myself the role that it does kind of play in everything else. And so that's why it's been amazing to me, the fact that like that we've done this this program together, that you helped me finish the Oblis program, because I bought it in 2016, tried to get through the whole thing, and this is the first time that I've actually finished it. And I know, and I'm going to say it to you again, because I know that it's thanks to you and thanks to these like kind of accountability meetings that, you know, in 2016 when I bought the program, I was so not ready for, and I didn't even the sisterhood meetings didn't even register as a possibility, because I was not like in a place where I was ready to pop online and speak to a stranger about anything. So especially about like sexuality. And so now I'm at this space where like I've gone through that program, I finished it, I realized like all of the things that I've learned since 2016, and even getting up to 2016, when I got to that point where I was like, I can buy this program for myself and like focus on my sexuality in this way. It takes a lot for a woman to get there, I think. So I want to kind of like honor myself and even you for just like getting to that point. And so yeah, finishing the program, and now I've joined Layla Martin's Vita membership. So I didn't tell you that yet, but that was kind of my big news for today. The timing just felt crazy, like synchronicity, like we just finished Oblis and she opened up the doors for her like 6 months again for this like fairly new program that she's launched this year. And it just felt so right because of the themes that are like coming up for her in that program, like talking about queen consciousness in terms of our sexuality. Like feels like I've been getting that message intuitively, and it just felt so timely. So we had like our like opening ceremony call yesterday, and I so needed that. I'm so excited for this whole month, this first month of kind of diving into like what that means, because I really feel like also the other thing, I just finished a year-long priestess training just before like the opening of this. So it just really, everything felt connected, because with Layla Martin, she's talking about this queen consciousness, connecting to like the goddess or like our divine energy, and for me anyway, this priestess energy as well, this priestess like consciousness or aspect of ourselves that kind of, for me, really combines the two. It's like the queen is recognizing what I've come to realize is important for me, that like the physical is important, like we're here in these physical bodies, and that's why sexuality is important, but we can connect it to like the sacred through like the goddess, and being a priestess is like combining both of those, like being a queen in our physical environments and through our sexuality, but also being like a goddess and being connected to the goddess and like the divine, whatever you want to call that, finding the bridge between the two, and that's being the priestess. So I'm like feeling that so strongly right now, and wanting to connect more to my spirit, like to my spirituality, but my sexuality, and bringing that all together. I feel like it's a really important piece, because it has like this holistic view to everything that I've been trying to create, and sexuality is kind of like a key way of getting back to that as women who have been like disconnected from our sexual creative like energy and power. connecting back to that is like can be like a feeding drive and like energy for everything that we do. And so yeah, I don't know, I'm just feeling really, really charged up about that. And like I've been clearing a lot, and it's been hard, but it feels like there's a lot of hope, and the hope is coming from that place of like connecting to the fact that we are queens and connecting to other queens. And yeah, like I don't know, I just when it comes to this, like I'm feeling pretty optimistic, and I feel like I need to focus on that. And that's why I'm happy to have like joined this program, because I really need it right now. I'm like going through some hard times in other areas of my life. And I mean, with everything that's happening in the world, there's a lot going on emotionally, and connecting into our bodies, feeling into our bodies, healing and releasing through like movement practice, but through sexual practice as well, is it's a great like healing tool that we have at our disposal like all the time. Like it's here, it's in our body, it's embodiment, which I have it on my wall actually. 2020 is like my focus is embodiment. And so even when I first wrote that on my wall at the beginning of the year, I wasn't thinking I was going to dive deeply back into my spirit, like my sacred sexuality practices. But it's like leading to that. So it's like, yeah, meant to be. So I think I'm out of time, but yeah, thank you for letting me express that.
Oh, I think the Vita program, I wanted to join so bad, but I'm not in a place to do that right now. But oh my God, I'm so happy you did. And I'm so happy that, I mean, this opening call, it must have been amazing.
Yeah. And I think it's like it's giving me like the energy to be in this call today, because otherwise like I was like my battery was totally drained, but that really filled me back up. So
yeah. And then, like you were saying, I think in the Obelisk you did not join, right? The live calls and all of that.
Yeah, no.
And for me, that's, you know, also you kind of can feel it when there is a lot of other millions, I don't know if millions, but you know, hundreds of women connecting at the same time. That's just a whole other experience. And I'm just so happy that you're giving yourself this gift of, you know, feeling connected to such a large, to queens, right? Queens among queens. And I will join sometime in the future, but congratulations.
In the meantime, we can kind of exchange here, and I'll kind of share that energy with you.
Oh,
because I'm definitely thinking about you. Like when I was joining the program, I'm like, I don't think Carla is, but I know that like she's with me.
I am. Oh, I love it. For sharing. Yummy.
Thanks for listening. Giving me that space to express that, because I haven't really talked about it with anybody else. So thanks.
Yeah. You'd say because it's too personal, or it's just no one understands, or
yeah, I think it's just there hasn't really been like an opening, you know, like or a space for it to come up necessarily. It's me too, like I don't necessarily like create that opening all the time, but yeah, it's nice to have this space that's like, you know, the intention is there, this like it's the purpose of this kind of like get together, and I'm grateful for that, because maybe in sharing it too, it's going to create more openings for talking about this with others. So it'd be cool. All right. So in the next part of the process, I'm like all business here, is the brags. So we each share 5 brags. No time limit, just whatever it is that we'd like to kind of celebrate with each other.
So very good exercise to just let yourself celebrate yourself, right? And give yourself credit where credit is due.
Yeah.
to be witness in that, and to be celebrated. And that's, I think, so important, especially amongst women.
Yeah, yeah, because I don't know about you, but I have a really hard time celebrating my wins, taking the time to actually pause and see them.
Mm.
And I never know how to celebrate, honestly.
Mhm.
So just having like being able to express it with somebody and to take that moment is really,
Yeah,
I've
and to
really
feel
enjoyed it.
safe, right? Yeah, to feel
Yeah.
safe. It's like, am I being too arrogant or something? For me, like sometimes I do want to. I feel because I've been practicing this, so it's easier for me to be celebrative of myself. But then the sharing part, it's like, oh, is this safe, or am I going to get shut down? So that's also when you can go all out in celebration and to be celebrated with. That's really healing for me. Is for sure. Yeah.
All right.
Oh,
You ready to play?
yes. Um, so I want to brag that I reached out. I reached out into the Obliss Facebook group about what I was experiencing, my pain in my vagina, and I was very open and raw and just honest. And I just want to brag that I did share, that I opened up, and it's yes. And the ladies were, I didn't even know if anyone would respond or not. And a lot of ladies did, and now it's so, like, honestly, sharing and sisterhood, it's the game changer for everything, because I got so many, I felt less alone, and I also, ladies were sharing resources. So I'm now looking into that, and so that's my first brag.
Awesome.
I share it.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Good job.
thank you. And my second brag is that I joined to a membership. It's not the Vita, but I did with the she's called Misa Hopkins. I think it's her name, and she also focuses on sexual healing and how to reclaim your soul after sexual assault, and a lot of it's called Woman of Power and Spirit, and she's also very spiritual, and I could it was affordable for me, and I am. I hesitated because I guess we all always hesitated to invest for ourselves, and I'm really glad I did. I feel supported. I love this, and I just want to give myself that gift, and so I did join a membership for myself. Yes.
That's, oh, what a nice gift for yourself.
Yeah, I feel really fulfilled
Mm.
about that.
Mm.
Yeah. I have a brag. I want to brag that I normally on my face, I'm never personal on my personal Facebook page. I post stuff that is important for me, or just stuff that I like, and you just really write something from the heart. I think I've never done that since I have Facebook, and I I did a few, and I guess you also liked it. I saw that you liked it.
I was like,
Right. And
yeah.
so it was I was just speaking from the heart, and trying to be just very as humble as I could be around um Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
And I'm just happy that I broke silence, um for myself, to just, I feel like I'm braver, and just this is me, this is it, this is my opinion, which I have never done publicly, never. And then in such a important matter, where I also was kind of exposing myself to backlash, and maybe also taking the risk of maybe saying something horribly wrong because of ignorance, what it's like.
Yeah, I
So
know.
I'm just, yes, so I really want to brag about that, and I feel like it's the beginning of me stepping into my just being seen, and just this is it, and being expressive.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, way to go. That's huge. That is massive, seriously. Congratulations. Using your voice.
You're inspiring me. Like you're really an inspiration for me because you've been doing this for a while now. So it's thank you for the inspiration.
Okay.
Those were 3, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What else? I just want to brag about what I'm wearing. I love this. How it's called? I don't know. This pink color. I just like it. I really like it. And I just want to brag about it. I really like it. And I feel like it's so, it's well, you just see it, right? If I were like in the streets, like, oh, that's who is this lady with this pink? So it's also, not being so shy and just, here I am. And I really like this color on me. And I want to brag that I feel beautiful with it.
You are beautiful.
And I want to brag that I'm really improving my my healing skills, if I may call it like that. I've been investing also and just trying to figure out how holistically and energy wise, how can I be more of service for myself and for others. And I'm proud of that. I want to brag about that, especially yesterday, that I could be there for myself. And I do feel better. I do feel better. So
Oh, beautiful. Wow. Take the power back. Like,
yeah.
healer, beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you. It makes me so happy every time.
It's good, right? Like, we need to celebrate these things.
Yeah.
For me, I guess I'd like to celebrate that choice to join Vita, because just like you, like it's so hard to invest in yourself, and it is like pricey, and I am like not necessarily in the best place to like be investing in something like that, but I always tell myself that too. It's like, oh, now's not a good time, and I feel like I need it, so I did it, and I'm already feeling the benefits of it. So you know what? Celebrating that.
Yes.
Myself.
Yes. Yes.
Celebrating and bragging about the fact that I've been really, really devoted to my creative practice in this past week when I've needed it most, like healing, like you. I've been really like showing up, even though it's been really hard. So I want to brag about that.
Wow. I love it.
I want to brag about the fact that I feel like I'm connecting to my power. I feel like I'm like saying no when like it's been a no for a really long time, but I've just been putting up with it and being like, I have to do this, and feeling trapped, and just stepping into my power and being like, no, like this is not working for me. No more. Cutting cords with what's not working, even though I don't know where that's going to take me. I feel like it's a part of stepping back into my power and being like, I'm not going to put up with this anymore. So
yes.
Yeah, so it feels
and that's so brave.
Thanks.
Especially when we don't know, where is this going to take me.
Yeah.
I love
it. Thank you.
celebrating you in that.
That word for me.
Yeah.
I also want to celebrate and brag about the fact that that I'm like stepping into this kind of like heart calling to collaborate with beautiful people like you. And I like posted another like heart-to-heart conversation that I had with another friend that I really connect with. And yeah, I want to brag about like following that intuition because it feels really right.
Yeah.
So I want to brag about that. And then for my last brag, I want to brag about the fact that I've been like taking that time to connect with people who are supporting me in my healing journey and in my personal development and my growth. So like bragging about like kind of giving myself that opportunity and like putting myself out there and meeting freaking amazing people. Like, thank you. There we go.
Those are amazing brags. I love it. Wow, big time, big time.
Thank you. All right, so the next part of the process is the oracle. This is the part that gets a bit hard.
That's the real.
Pretty deep. Yes. So in total, it's about 12 minutes usually. We give each other 2 minutes for each part with the timer. The original way to do this is we ask each other a question over and over again in 3 stages. The first is, what do you want? The next is usually, what are you afraid of? And the last is, what do you love about yourself? That's kind of what the Obelisk program and like sisterhood calls or what they offer. And then you can kind of intuitively start to kind of change the questions based on what feels right to you in the moment. So this is what me and Carla do. We have kind of adapted the questions. We go over it beforehand to see what we kind of want to try to go into today and see what comes up. So we've already changed the questions, but we do like to keep that, what do you really want, first question, because as Carla said, she used the word kickstart. It kickstarts kind of the process in a really nice way, and I agree. So we're going to start off with that, each taking 2 minutes, where we just ask this question and diving deeper into what it is that we really, really want. Exactly. So you want us to start with that, and then we'll get into the other questions after?
Yeah.
So you're going first, or you want me?
I think I am going first. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 2 minutes. Are you ready? Is there anything else you wanted to say before we start?
I would say it's important to pick a specific area you want to work on, and on this, this exercise we do it on sexuality, and sometimes it can be general and life in general, but I think the more specific you get, the more beneficial it is, I would say.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, because I can definitely, I start to go in all kinds of areas, and it's okay if you do, like there's nothing wrong with that, but having something that you want to kind of look at, and an area you want to focus on in your life can be helpful. So good thing to bring that up. Thank you. Good reminder for me. Okay, so on the clock. Ready?
Ready.
Okay, Carla, so what do you want?
I want to have a really, really beautiful connection and relationship with my Joni.
Thank you. And what do you really want?
I really want to understand her.
Thank you. What do you really want?
I want to have a pain-free experience sexually, and especially with my vagina.
Thank you. What do you want?
I just really want to accept the way I'm wired sexually.
Thank you. What do you really want?
I really want to call in the best lover and partner for this experience that I want to have sexually.
Thank you. What do you really want?
I really want to love my body unconditionally.
Thank you. What do you want?
I want to know what's going on with her.
Thank you. What do you want?
I want to be a vagina expert.
Thank you. What do you really want?
I really want to be so sensual. I want to be a very sensual sexual person.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think you're well on your way, or already are a very sensual person, but just saying. Just
You
had
for
to
the
put that up
reminder. Oh,
there.
it's the best feeling, honestly.
Mm.
And just as you were saying, you know, sexual energy is creative energy, is life energy. So
Connecting with that, right?
yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. Okay, ready?
Yep.
Okay. So, Amanda, what do you really want?
I really want to connect with that sexual creative energy.
Thank you. What do you really want?
I want to like see and feel the connection between that energy and like my power.
Oh, thank you. What do you want?
I want to step fully and unapologetically into my power.
Yes, thank you. What do you want?
I want to be able to show up as and call myself a queen.
Thank you. What do you really want?
I want to cut cords with anything and everything that is holding me back.
Yeah, thank you. What do you really want?
I want to not feel shame for who I really am.
Thank you. What do you really want?
I want to not feel shame about the things that I really want to talk about.
Yeah, thank you. What do you really want?
I want to find more people who want to talk about the things I want to talk about and not make me feel ashamed for talking about the things I want to talk about.
Thank you. What do you really want?
I want to participate in creating spaces to talk about things that are considered shameful to talk about.
Thank you. What do you really want?
I want to see other queens rise up and be a part of the people who are helping like others rise up as I rise up.
Wow, thank you.
Thank you. Man, I'm really inspired by that call that I was on yesterday.
I see. I see. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Those are, I love, it's beautiful intentions. I love it. And I'm so happy you know, I'm eager to just know more about it and what you're going to bring after those calls.
Well, this is a part of it, you know, this is a part of
Yeah.
it. You're a part of it. So thank you.
Okay.
Okay. We're gonna,
Oh, second
we
question.
wanted to kind of like go into some of the shadow because we know that it's a part of all of this. And so we kind of ask ourselves some of the hard questions in this oracle. So we chose this question that we've tested in the past that we found to be very effective. And it is, what are you ashamed of? So it's not an easy question to do, like even just alone and with ourselves, and doing it now in a recording is like taking it to a whole other level. But it's such an important question to ask, and
Yeah.
mean that, and we're willing to go there today and to try to go as deep as we can and see what comes up.
Yeah.
So.
And just to paraphrase Brené Brown, I think she said, you know, shame can't survive being spoken or being shared. So I can't stress enough, right?
Yeah.
And that's, I think that's what makes it so hard. You remember the first time we did it? I still do it. I just close my eyes and I really literally feel the pain in my heart because it's like, oh, I can't say that. It's so shameful. It's not, you know, so releasing that it has been beyond healing for me, for sure.
Yeah.
So
It's really powerful. Thank you for saying that.
oh, but scary.
Scary, but powerful.
But
And that's a good quote. You said it before, and it's spot on. So thanks for saying it again.
Yeah.
All right, so 2 minutes of going into this. You ready?
Yes.
Okay, here we go. 1 hour and 2 minutes. Maybe that'd be too much. Okay, 2 minutes. Here we go. So, Carla, what are you ashamed of?
I am ashamed of having let myself down in sex.
Thank you. What are you ashamed of?
I'm ashamed of not knowing how to stand up for myself and protect myself in sexual encounters.
Thank you. What are you ashamed of?
I'm ashamed of what I did to my yoni.
Thank you. What are you ashamed of?
I'm ashamed of my experiences sexually.
Thank you. What are you ashamed of?
I'm ashamed of the pain I feel.
Thank you. What are you ashamed of? Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for being so real, as always.
Thanks for making it safe. I feel very safe. Yeah. I feel a little like just only grasping the surface. I feel like, but sometimes it's like you feel there's something you're ashamed of, but you can't really say what it is. Like as if you and you don't really know yet.
Yeah.
And so that's part of what I feel right now, but I also feel very relieved.
And that's the beauty of like continuously asking the question too, because we get in our minds and we say something that we think we're ashamed of, but we're kind of like feeling into these other areas of like, what is the root, or like what else is going on, or because sometimes what we say, it's not even actually necessarily the truth, and we don't realize it. It's like, whoa. So that's why it's a really interesting practice, and there's no right or wrong, and it's just expressing in the moment and kind of seeing how we feel and what's coming up.
Yeah, and I would say sometimes we think we're ashamed of something, but there's something else we're feeling.
Yeah.
And sometimes we think there's stuff we think we're not ashamed of, and we take pride in not being, but we do. We carry a lot of shame because it's internalized, and those are like, oh my god, I didn't even know it. That's
the shadow work, right? It's like really being honest with ourselves, and it takes time to get there too. Like it's hard.
Okay. Set up your timer. Okay. Ready?
Yeah.
So Amanda, what are you ashamed of?
ashamed of some of my sexual history.
Thank you. What are you ashamed of?
I'm ashamed of the parts of me that feel too prudish to be able to talk about this and like make a video like this.
Thank you. What are you really ashamed of?
I'm like also ashamed of the other side of that, like the side that is like super sexual and super passionate and could be called a slut, you know?
Mm-hmm. Thank you. What are you really ashamed of?
I'm ashamed of like how I've treated my body sometimes and how I still treat my body sometimes.
Thank you. What are you ashamed of?
I'm ashamed of sometimes I'm ashamed of the importance that I feel like sex does have in my life.
Thank you. What are you really ashamed of?
And then the feminist kind of side of me is ashamed of being ashamed of that. It's like layers of shame on shame on shame, of being ashamed for feeling ashamed for not feeling ashamed. It's just like
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks.
Sometimes, yeah, it's like layer on layer. We don't even know what the root is or what, you know, there's there's so much. We're like, yeah.
Today, like I feel like I just feel all those layers and I can't even go to the deeper layers of shame because I'm like clouded by those layers, you know?
Yes.
And then it depends on the day, you know, and that's where I'm at today. So there it is.
Yeah.
Feels like a mess, but it's nice to express it. So thank you.
Yeah. It's a lot around, you know, around sharing about your sexuality, but I feel like it's what you're occupied right now. So that's what you're feeling shame around.
Yeah.
So this dissonance about, you know, wanting to, not wanting to, and shame on both sides, and external shame, and yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And for me, like doing this, like always just taking this time with you, but also like creating in this way with you is like part of like busting through that, you know? So again, thanks for doing this with me. Okay. So last question, ending on a note after kind of feeling into our shame, ending on a note of forgiveness, and using this question, what do you forgive yourself for? Which is this shower, which is so important and so powerful and healing. Is there anything specific you want to add on this before we start? Forgiveness.
I would say it's I would say it's important, and that's how it's, I think it's built, this process of this specific exercise to really end on a positive note, whether it's, you know, love for yourself or forgiveness. And I would say, you know, whatever, for if people want to experiment with that, I would say to just end on this positive, or just this purification note. That I would, it's the only thing that comes to my mind.
Open that up because I'm just going to put it out there. Like I've kind of tested this heart-to-heart like system in other areas of my life and with other people, and kind of rearranging it to the situation, and I didn't like I forgot to end on that positive note, and honestly it was kind of painful. So make sure that you end on on a positive note. It's so important.
So that, you know, the nervous system feels safe to do it again, I would say, right? That's also, you know.
Yeah, because like I've done a lot of personal work that like helped me kind of get through that faster, but I still like had a day where I just felt like in pain, and like I was like processing to see like what happened. and why I was kind of coming out of it feeling that way. And so luckily, I could see that, but yeah, we need that positive note at the end to help us. Yeah, so it's in the process for a reason. So thanks for mentioning that, Carla. Okay, so 2 minutes.
Yes.
Okay, so here we go. So Carla, what do you forgive yourself for?
I forgive myself for not honoring my yoni like I think I could.
Thank you. What do you forgive yourself for?
I forgive myself for not knowing better in the situation.
Thank you. What do you forgive yourself for?
I forgive myself for not feeling worthy of patience and respect.
Thank you. What do you forgive yourself for?
I forgive myself for being where I'm at, for feeling pain.
Thank you. What do you forgive yourself for?
I forgive myself for not listening to what my body was telling me.
Thank you. What do you forgive yourself for?
I forgive myself for giving into pressure.
Thank you.
Mm. Mm. You know, why I think forgiveness it's so powerful. It's because, you know, sometimes we think about forgiveness about, you know, sugarcoating or just minimizing what happened, and I think that's why it can be so emotional sometimes. It's because you take so radical responsibility about what happened or what you did or what the situation is, and but you forgive. So I think there's, you know, this part of self-responsibility that I really like about forgiveness. Just owning, and but with compassion as much as we're capable of giving compassion. And I feel like for myself right now, I feel like I need to do this, you know, I refer to my vagina as her, like an individual, like, and I feel like I need to apologize, and I want to apologize to her more than to me. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah, and I feel like this is a process that I, you know, have to do over and over again to just to just heal and get through what I'm feeling and what I did, what I choose to do. So
You're setting some intentions there.
yeah.
Which is the next step.
Clarity brings a lot of clarity too. I love this exercise. Yes.
Absolutely. That's why this whole process is like, it's magic. It's like we come into it not always knowing exactly where we're going to go, and at the end we have some clarity. And I just want to take a moment to honor you in that and what you expressed around that power of forgiveness. Like I want to like kind of repeat it in my own way because it's so true and it's so powerful. Taking that responsibility, but also being gentle with ourselves. It's like everything right now, I feel. So thank you for expressing that and finding a way to put words to that power that we're talking about. It is huge. And yes, honoring you in everything that you've shared today, and that whole like journey of like finding what you need at the end, because that's what's nice in this process too. It's like we're not here to tell each other like what to do or to try to fix each other or to point something out. It's like just us expressing from the heart, which is what I'm all about, but with somebody else, so that some things can be mirrored back, so we know we're not alone, and so that we can just find that clarity for ourselves.
Yeah,
Else who's willing to hold the space.
exactly.
That's priestessing, you know.
I will thank you. I'm trying to figure out what it is really, priestess. And thank you for saying that. Very true.
It's like all of us kind of tapping back into that power that we do have to create these spaces for ourselves or for our families or for our communities, for our friends. Like we can all do this if we want to, and I feel like we need to, you know. It's so needed right now. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, 2 minutes. Okay. Ready?
Yeah.
So, Amanda, what do you forgive yourself for?
I forgive myself for getting lost. Let's start with that.
Thank you. What do you forgive yourself for?
I forgive myself for making mistakes in my sexuality, but like in all areas of my life.
Thank you. What do you really forgive yourself for?
I forgive myself for not being compassionate with myself, not forgiving myself, not like being really hard on myself in general.
Thank you. What do you forgive yourself for?
I forgive myself for the ways that I've treated my body.
Yeah, thank you. What do you really forgive yourself for?
I forgive myself for blocking my voice on some of these topics because I didn't feel safe, and maybe I wasn't safe, but I'm finding places and people with whom I can feel safe. So I forgive myself for shutting down.
Thank you. What else do you forgive yourself for?
I forgive myself for being small and not stepping into my power.
Thank you. What do you forgive yourself for?
I forgive myself for how hesitant I can be when it comes to my sexuality and talking about it and living it.
Thank you. Yeah. You know, a lot of boundaries. I think you have a boundaries issue, right? Like a lot of people, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There's been a lot of work around that. But I feel like I'm coming through to the other side of something, and like I'm always going to have to be aware, really aware. But I'm finding like what I need, and
Yeah.
that's huge, actually. Yeah.
And thank you for saying that, because looking your voice, not stepping up or just not letting yourself be seen. I think so many, and who cannot relate, right? and also a lot of, I think for me, sometimes it's not, sometimes we just really are under equipped on how to set boundaries, but a lot of the times it's even if we know how to articulate ourselves in having boundaries. It's often that we don't feel worthy of them, right? So, I mean, for me,
Yeah,
um,
really, I can relate.
and also another thing about forgiveness, I just listened to a podcast the other day, really, really insightful, and they were saying that when you're able to forgive or to ask for forgiveness, it's an indicator of self-worth.
Uh,
And I'm like, oh my God, yes, that's so true.
yeah.
And they say like those who why we sometimes have these people like, why won't you apologize? Why can't you see I'm in pain, right? And they were saying that it's because those that's an indicator, strong indicator of they carry so much shame,
Mm,
that self-hatred within themselves, that it's just not available to them. It feels dangerous. It feels it's just not. It's they can't, right?
yeah.
So I just wanted to put that out there for you know for to shed light and to have some compassion. And also, I mean, that what because asking for forgiveness, I mean, to just step up and say, I did something really wrong. I wronged you, right? I hurt you, even if it wasn't intentional. Sometimes it's like the most uncomfortable thing to do, but since I know that it really, I'm doing it for myself, and it's an indicator. The easier that gets, the more it's because I feel worthy. It's an indicator of self-worth. So it's huge. It's beautiful. And I just wanted to put that out there for
You are such a beautiful, intuitive soul. Like,
Aw.
that is exactly what I needed to hear today, like in another aspect of my life where I was kind of like dealing with a person who could just not say sorry, and a
Yeah.
part of me knows that it's like coming from that space, like everything that you said of like, this person is not, um, feeling worthy, is like has stuff to heal and to work through, but it's still really hard to be on the other side of that. And I'm still finding it in me to like forgive and to like move on from that. But like, I just like really needed to hear that today. And so like, I love it because it feels like that's always happens with you. It's like, you're just like feeling into whatever like your heart wants to say. And it's like spot on what I needed to hear. So I just wanted to say that. I always walk away from our calls feeling like revived. And I want to thank you for that. And, really express that gratitude for you and for this time that we have together.
Hello. Can you see how lit up I am? I love our cause. Thank you.
Thanks. I'm gonna wrap it up because I think the recording's probably getting long, but we'll talk a little bit more outside of this.
Yeah.
Um, we finished with intentions.
Mhm.
Carla shared a bit about hers. My intention is to keep stepping into this power. Keep like having calls like this, keep working on like my sexuality and what that means to me and all of this stuff, and keep moving towards like in this direction. Is there
Yes.
anything else you wanted to add before I stop the recording?
No, that's it. I expressed it all. Yeah. Thank you.
A lot of deep and rich and nourishing, beautiful things. So thank you again. Thank you if you've watched this video, this recording. Thank you for joining us, and feel free to let us know. Reach out to us if you want to share anything that's come up for you. And let us know if this is something that you'd like to see again, because we're wondering if this is something that we can keep doing or not. We're going to talk about it now to see how we feel about that. But we'd like to hear from you if you watched all of this and want to share some of your thoughts. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks, Carla, for being here and doing this with me. I'll see you in another expression from the heart.
Yeah.